This is the titanium cutting board set of 3. After spending some time with it, I thought it might be helpful to share what I've noticed so far. The set includes 3 sizes. I use the small board for fruit, garlic, or quick jobs that do not need much space. The medium board handles most of my daily vegetable prep. The largest one gives me enough room for bigger cuts of meat, several ingredients, or a full meal prep session. Having 3 sizes has been more useful than I expected. I do not need to pull out the large board just to cut a lemon. When I am preparing several foods at once, I can keep meat on one board and vegetables on another. That makes it easier for me to keep raw food away from anything that is ready to eat. Each board can be used on both sides. I usually keep one side for raw meat and seafood. I use the other side for vegetables, fruit, bread, and cooked food. I still wash the board between different tasks, but the 2-sided layout helps me stay organized. The surface feels firm and smooth, with a light brush texture.
Food does not stick to it much.
Damp vegetables can still slide a little, but I have not found that unusual for a metal board. The edges feel smooth, and the rounded corners make the boards comfortable to pick up and move. One of my concerns was the weight. Metal boards can sound heavy and awkward, but these are fairly thin. The smaller 2 are easy to lift with one hand. The large one has more weight, but it is still manageable. They also take up less cabinet space than my thick wooden cutting board. Cleaning has been simple. Garlic, onion, raw meat juices, and fruit color wash away without much effort. The boards do not seem to hold smells the way some plastic and wooden boards do. After washing them with dish soap, I do not notice any leftover odor. I have also put them in the dishwasher. They came out clean and did not warp. There is no oiling or conditioning involved, which is something I appreciate. My wooden board needs more care, especially after it gets wet. These boards only need to be washed and dried. I bought this type of board because I wanted to use less plastic during food preparation. My older plastic boards had deep knife marks after a while. Small pieces of material around those cuts made me uncomfortable. I cannot independently verify every material claim made by a seller, so I would still check the product information and any available testing documents before buying. That matters because some boards online may use mixed metals while being described as pure titanium. The surface does pick up visible knife marks. Mine developed light scratches after normal chopping. They do not feel deep, and they have not affected how I use the boards, but anyone expecting the surface to stay untouched may be disappointed. A metal cutting surface will show wear. Knife contact also feels different from cutting on wood. There is a sharper tapping sound with each cut. It took me a few meals to stop noticing it. If I am chopping quickly, the sound is more obvious. It is not a major issue for me, but it could be annoying in a quiet kitchen. The bigger concern is knife sharpness. My knives seem to need honing more often than they do with a softer wooden board. I try not to press down harder than necessary, and I avoid dragging the knife edge across the surface to move food. I use the flat side of the blade or a scraper instead. That has helped, but I would still expect more edge maintenance with titanium. The boards can also move on a smooth counter. On my countertop, the large board stayed fairly steady during light cutting, but it shifted when I chopped with more force. I fixed that by putting a damp kitchen towel or a thin silicone mat underneath. That takes a few seconds and makes the board feel much safer. Compared with plastic, titanium is easier for me to clean and does not develop the same deep grooves. Compared with wood, it needs less care and does not absorb water. Wood is quieter and gentler on my knives, though. I still understand why someone who owns expensive kitchen knives might prefer a wooden board for most chopping. I noticed another useful detail when working with frozen food. A frozen piece of meat seems to begin thawing faster on this surface than it does on wood. The metal transfers temperature quickly. I still follow normal food safety practices and do not leave meat sitting out for a long time, but it can help during short preparation periods. Storage is easy because the boards are thin. I keep all 3 together beside my baking sheets. They do not take up much room, and I can pull out the size I need without moving a heavy block. The hanging holes are also useful if you prefer storing boards on hooks. This set makes the most sense for someone who wants a non-porous cutting surface, uses a dishwasher, and does not want to maintain a wooden board. It is also useful for separating raw meat, produce, and cooked food during meal prep. The three sizes work well in a small kitchen because I do not have to use one large board for every little job. It may not be the right choice for someone who is sensitive to metal tapping sounds or wants the softest possible surface for knife edges. It also needs a towel or mat underneath on a slick counter. Those are the main trade-offs I have noticed. For my routine, the easy cleanup and different sizes are the strongest reasons to keep using it. I like that food odors rinse away and that I can place the boards in the dishwasher. I just accept the scratches, use a non-slip mat, and pay more attention to keeping my knives sharp. If those trade-offs sound reasonable, this set is worth considering. I would check the material details carefully, especially when comparing similar products from different sellers. If you have any questions about the titanium cutting board set of 3, leave them in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more practical product reviews. Thank you for watching.